fun one, and you're listening to it right now. Are you just so thrilled about that, aren't you?
Yes, you are. Welcome to the Island Shuffle, home of where we talk about Lost, but in the wrong order.
We talk about it, but boy, you better believe we're not talking in the right order. It's gonna be the wrong order every time.
Every single time. We haven't even watched 2 in a row yet, and we are on episode 65.
Yep, you got that right, buddy. And I'll tell you what.
And wait.
Hey.
We did not celebrate last time.
No.
But we actually passed another square root.
Oh, yeah.
Show.
We did it.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. What's the next one? That was 8.
9 times 9.
Which
81.
is 81. So it'll be a minute
81,
before we get there.
And then 100.
100.
And then
121 is, I'm pretty sure, the square of 11, isn't it? Is it not?
11 times 10 is 110. Yeah, 121.
Yeah,
That'll
baby.
be our finale.
Yeah.
Wow.
How about that?
Okay, so all you math heads out here, the show's finally starting to pay off.
Finally.
We're, giving you what you love. We're paying attention to the mail that you're giving us.
Honestly, this show is for smart people only, and smart people know things like the numbers that are square rooted.
Smart people know how long to put the popcorn in any microwave.
That's a hard skill to have.
Because it varies.
You can look at a microwave and you can look at a bag of popcorn and say 2 minutes, 3.5 seconds.
Well, my microwave is very slow. You could do 3.5 minutes it would take. And on the bag it says 2 minutes. And it's like, where is the consistency?
Well, this is why we need smart people in the world, because they're going to pop our popcorn without burning it or undercooking it also.
That's what I always sort of thought. So welcome to the Island Shuffle.
Welcome to the Island Shuffle, the podcast for smart people who know how to microwave a popped corn. If you've ever popped a corn, this is the show for you. And listen, what the heck episode did we watch this week?
We watched Season 4, Episode 2, Confirmed Dead.
Who? What? That's such a grim title. Who could be confirmed dead?
One person.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, a bunch of people, but they weren't actually dead.
What?
Oh, this is all about outsiders coming inside. This is about, taking our ragtag group of plane crash survivors and introducing them to a ragtag group of boat excavationers. And they just get together, and you know what? They don't get along at first.
Sparks fly.
Is
this a workshop where a buzzsaw is cutting a piece of steel?
Better
because
put on your welding mask.
Sparks are flying every which way. And listen, this episode doesn't really have a focus.
No.
What it does instead have is like flashbacks dedicated to each of the freighter people that we meet in this episode. And so because of its weird structure, I don't know how you want to handle this one.
Maybe let's good question.
I feel like this
Island
one might be this one might be
out of the way.
I kind of feel like this one might be a good one to do like just actually like beat for beat. Because there's no continuity between any of the flashbacks, right?
Totally. There is no continuity.
No. So let's just start at the start for once.
Okay. Where did it start?
It starts with grimy footage of undersea cam scouting under the seas. And there's clips and there's numbers on the screen. There's a number that's just going up for some reason. There's a number called distance that's just going up.
The distance number is going up. That one I sort of get.
The signal number is also just going all the way up.
I don't get that one.
That one's a little weird. I don't. You know what? I'm not going to claim to be an expert on drone submarines and how they work. Drone rescue submarines. But this is the show for smart people, so if any smarties out there have any idea why the number go up, please
put it in the mail.
Put it in the mail. Send it.
And we will address that on episode 81.
On episode 81, and then again in episode 82.
82. I'm looking at you. Hey.
So what does this first-person submarine find? Guess what it finds? It finds a plane. Not just any plane. An oceanic plane. And that plane, by gosh, it's full of dang bodies. And they say, well, what the heck? This must be Oceanic Flight 815. I guess we found it. I guess that mystery's solved. And then cut to some news footage of, they found Flight 815, and turns out there were no survivors. Boop, boop, boop.
Sad.
But first of all, you and I both know there's survivors.
They're fucking lying.
Yeah, they're
They're
lying.
fucking lying. I found it first.
Wouldn't
Wouldn't they just check first, like network TV,
Yeah.
to see if anyone else has found Oceanic 815 and be like, oh, there's like 4 seasons talking about that.
Yeah, that's true. They made the big mistake of not watching the first 3 seasons before they sent this rescue operation down into the trenches.
We
of
already
the ocean.
knew where they were.
Yeah, they were on
It was
the island.
the best thing since Survivor.
Yeah. What are they thinking?
Survivor.
What reality show, what seminal reality show are you going to watch tonight? Same
Big
thing I watch
Brother.
every Thursday. Survivor.
Big Brother.
Top Chef.
Top Chef. That's a game show.
That's a
Yeah.
game
I
shows are real
know.
life now.
No, games are fake. They're fake.
Games are real.
They're not
Mario
real.
is real.
No, that
Back-
guy is an animated
Backgammon
plumber.
is real.
Hey, you tell me, you bring Mario in, fix the fucking leak in your plumbing. Tell me how that goes, eh?
You know what? I'll get back to you on that.
You know what? Luigi is probably a better plumber than Mario, because Mario
fuck
spends
yeah.
so much time, like, climbing inside the pipes.
Yeah, he's making the problem way worse. Have you ever? Sorry to go off on a tangent, but have you ever watched the old like Mario cartoons?
Not really, no.
Because I've been watching them with a buddy. I got the Mario 3 cartoon
Uh-huh.
on DVD for a while ago. A couple things I want to point out about it. It's back before Mario 64 codified Mario as like being like, it's me, Italian, woo.
Uh-huh.
And so he just talks with like a gruff Brooklyn accent.
That's
He's just like,
cool.
hey, the Mushroom Kingdom, forget about it.
That's
like he talks
cool.
like that all the time.
I think that's who he really is.
That's who he really is, first of all. Second of all, they released this show before Mario 3 came out in the U.S.
Uh-huh.
And Mario 3 introduces the Koopa Kids
Uh-huh.
and gives them names, of course. But the showrunners didn't know the names, so they made up names for them.
Oh.
And so you have characters like Cootie Pie Koopa,
No.
Kooky Von Koopa,
No.
and of course, Cheatsy Koopa.
No.
It's true. It's
That's
true.
really funny.
I like to think about it.
Oh.
I like to think about it a lot, and that's their real names because those names came first.
Uh-huh.
So that's what their God-given names are.
So but then their names get changed later in the game?
Yeah,
Yeah.
when the game comes out, it contradicts the show, and you know what?
Uh-huh.
Fuck that.
The show came first.
The show
It's like,
came
what
first.
came first, the chicken and the egg? Well, the egg. Therefore,
Mm-hmm.
chickens are covered in a large shell.
Yeah, chickens are eggs.
Chickens are eggs. Get with it.
We've been telling you this from day one. Chickens are eggs. Anyways, aren't we watching a show about Lost? Or
No,
are we,
not anymore.
Not anymore. This is all about deep Mario lore. We've got opinions on Peachette 24/7.
Oh, someone's sad at the news.
Someone's sad at the news. Who's sad at the news?
Daniel Faraday.
What?
But the broken Daniel Faraday.
Yes, the broken, sad Daniel Faraday. This is literally the same scene that we saw last week.
Yeah.
But it's just cut off when Daniel says, I don't know why I'm sad.
I'm so sad.
And then it jumps ahead to a helicopter where Daniel, Miles, Charlotte, and Frank are. And the helicopter's going
Crashing.
down.
It's the middle of the night. Oh, no.
And then out goes our friend, Daniel. And then we get POV shot of Daniel falling from the helicopter, deploying his parachute,
Very weird.
looking at his feet, and then landing. Very weird shot. And then he finds Jack and Kate. And Jack and Kate are there. And guess what? It's great. Everybody's happy. Everybody's friends immediately. And that's the episode.
Everybody is pretty damn suspicious of who the heck Daniel is.
That's
More
true.
like it.
That's true.
Did you
that's
even
true.
watch the frickin' show? Oh my god.
Oh no, I fell asleep right when Daniel landed.
Oh no, it didn't go very well. They were like, "Who the frick are you?" And
Oh.
Daniel was like, "I'm Daniel Faraday. Are you Jack?" And then Jack's like, "I'm suspicious of you."
Yeah, that does happen. Suspicions are first mounted when Dan makes a call with his big honkin' smartphone. It's not really a smartphone, but it looks like a brick, and it has a long touch screen.
The satellite phone.
Satellite phone. That's
Serious
what it is.
satellite phone.
A Sirius satellite phone, and he uses it to place a speakerphone call back to the freighter and says, hey, I'm fine, but I was just in a helicopter crash. I don't know where everybody is. Immediately, the guy's like, take me off of speaker right now. So Dan says, all right, give me a moment, walks away, and guess what? They notice Dan has a gun. Right away, people are like, this is a little suspicious, but okay. All right. And so, but eventually they're just like, all right, you know what? We'll help you find your crew. It's fine. What it is it's fine. And what do they find? First and foremost, they find a big dented box.
Oh yeah, the big box.
The big
Metal.
box. And they open it up, and what do they find in? Not something regular that you would like to see.
Gas masks.
Gas masks instead.
And not even gas mask bongs like you would like to see.
Yeah, if I saw a gas mask bong, I would be like, wow, this helicopter had some cool fucking people on it.
That's so good. I love gas mask bongs.
They had some real cool and radical folks on there.
Yeah.
With some inventive ways to smoke that fun herb that we all like
so good.
to see.
Yeah, we love that weed.
Well, we love it, and
legalize it.
Honestly, JJ's been saying it, and we're saying it here too. It's time.
Legalize it.
It's now or never for weed, I think.
You got 1 month, Canada.
Canada, your time's running out.
I'm giving you 1 month, and if you don't legalize weed,
Canada.
I will flip out.
Yeah,
so there, by October 19th, you'd better do it.
You better do it. I'll tell you what I gotta swear. But no, it's gas masks for protecting you from horrible toxic gas. And immediately the gang is like, hey, what the fuck is this shit? Why you guys got this? You guys gonna poison us and save yourselves? What's going on? And Dan does a classic Dan thing. Daniel Faraday says, look, rescuing you guys is not actually our primary objective. Uh-oh, bum, bum, bum. Well, what the heck is? But a beeping from the phone.
He won't say.
He won't say.
He won't say. Daniel Faraday's character flaw is that he never tells anyone anything. He could solve so much by just communicating.
It's definitely a huge flaw, but it is great for the writers who don't want to come up with what it is.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah, it's a really convenient. Like, what if we came up with a guy who was just really scared of telling the truth? Oh, that's perfect.
So much tension.
Oh my God!
God.
What could his real motives be? So, what do you say we've got this crew of Jack and Kate. What do you say we check in on the other crew? Real quick?
Yeah, I'd love to hear what they're up to.
Well, listen. While it
beautiful crew. Oh, little beautiful baby crew.
Little beautiful baby crew. So Dan is asking like, oh, so it's just you two out here. That's weird. Where's the rest of your guys? Oh, well, they're at the beach. Well, some of them are anyway. Some of them? Well, where's the rest of them? Cut to Locke in the daytime.
Oh, yeah, it is the daytime now.
Yeah.
It is raining now.
Mm-hmm.
It's really funny. This is like way longer after.
Yeah.
Probably 16 hours later.
It must be, right? It literally goes from night to day.
It's mid-afternoon.
Yeah. Night to dusk at the very least. And it's raining, and Locke says, I bet it won't rain in a bit. And it stops raining, because I guess Locke has that power.
It's really cool.
It's
yeah,
really cool.
I don't know how they did that one.
And so they're like, so this is Locke's crew to catch y'all up. There's a schism. Some people believe the helicopter is here to save the crew. That crew consists of Jack, Kate, and the people at the beach. Some people believe the helicopter is here to do harm to the survivors and the island.
Survivors.
The survivors. And those folks are run by Locke and includes Hurley, Sawyer, Claire, Ben, and a bunch of other people. No, Saeed's on the beach.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I was mistaken. I'm sorry.
Hey, you're forgiven, but if you ever fuck up again, I'm going to get a new co-host.
Okay.
Sounds good?
Legalize it.
It's legalized. So they're on their way to, I don't know where they're on their way to, but Locke says, we got to go somewhere else. We got to go to a cabin. And Sawyer's like, cabin? What the heck are you talking about, cabin? I just want James to describe what he was just doing to me, because it definitely offended me personally.
I was spinning around this little thing on a string, but using the ungodly finger.
The ungodly finger that you do not like to see.
Ah.
And just for clarification, the ungodly finger was aimed squarely at me, so I know his intent. And now I know who my true allies are. My true allies are not sitting in the room with me. My true allies are you, the listener, who will surely side with me in the forthcoming divorce.
It's me against everyone else. I am not on the side of the listener. I am on the side of the viewer. Therefore, all of you who are looking at the cover art right now, we are a team together.
Yes.
And I trust the boat. And let's go on the boat.
Well, I say we can't trust the boat. And I, too, wiggle my middle finger at ye who trust the boat.
Take me on the boat.
So this is
Take me, Captain.
Don't you dare come even closer to me, Captain. So that's kind of like the dynamic of season 4, more or
Yeah,
less. That's
yeah.
kind of really what the stakes are. Everybody, whether you want the captain or you don't want the captain, everybody's somewhere and nobody's anywhere.
Yes.
I mean,
that was truly a nothing sentence.
I mean, well, you forgot the show we're on. The show about the nothing show sometimes.
But there's the cabin.
There's the cabin.
And who's in the cabin?
We never really get to the cabin, is the thing.
They're going to the cabin.
They're on their way to the cabin, basically. And Hurley says, like, well, the cabin's that way. Sawyer basically is like, what the heck are we doing going to the cabin? We got to get shelter. We got to, like, get shelter right now. And Locke says, well, guess what? Destiny told me to do that we need to go to the cabin.
Well, who the frick is Destiny?
And yeah, who's really giving you orders, Locke? Because if you just killed a woman last week or last episode, so Locke threw a knife into Naomi's back, killed a woman. So if you killed the woman, we better know who you're getting your orders from. And Locke says, okay, I got it from Walt. And Sawyer's like, Walt? But Walt left the island. What are you talking about? And Locke says, well, no, it was Walt, but it was taller. Also, I was shot to death in a pit, and Ghost Walt, saved my life. So I just kind of listened to what he had to say. And Sawyer is obviously incredulous.
Who are we to argue with Big Ghost Walt?
He sure does say that at some point. And honestly, valid point that I can't help but agree with.
Yeah. Actually, he says taller Ghost Walt, which I think is sort of funny wording.
Taller Ghost Walt is great. Who are we to argue with taller Ghost Walt? Who are any of us to argue with taller Ghost Walt?
I don't know. If someone catches me arguing with taller Ghost Walt, then lock me up because I am mentally unstable.
That is...
Actually, don't lock me up. Give me appropriate services.
Help my friend.
Me,
help
don't
my friend
lock
James.
me up. You don't need to lock me up.
You don't need to lock. Yeah, I think we've progressed a lot as a society, and so there's way better ways to deal with these problems. So Locke shows up off his tummy and says, "Look, I got really shot, and I really got saved by Walt. Okay, so listen up to me, I tell ya." So that's more or less where the two camps are.
Yes.
Now, Miles has arrived as well.
Miles is hanging out on some rocks.
And
he looks asleep.
And you know what he's dreaming about? He's dreaming about a past life. A past life where he was a ghostbuster. He talked to ghosts sometimes. And
definitely hired off Craigslist.
Ghostbuster, but also who can really talk to ghosts, but also who does it to scam ghosts and also the grieving.
So Miles knocks on this old lady's door, and she answers the door, and he says, "We talked on the phone," and she says, "Come in," and he says, "Where's the room? Also, it'll be $200. And she says, "I thought it was going to be $100. And he said, "That was before I knew your grandson was murdered. It's $200 now." Because murder is an expensive ghost, I guess.
Of course.
And then so she says, "The room's upstairs." He says, "Whatever you do, no matter what you hear up there, don't come in."
So Miles begins to set up this device that we've never seen before and will never see again. It's a dustbuster with a spinning gear on it.
It is a dustbuster with a spinning gear on it.
He sets it up, and he starts twitching around, and and the camera does the classic, like,
Ghost in the room.
It's Ghost in the Room cam.
Yeah. There's a big flashing thing that says "Ghost detected, Ghost detected, Ghost detected."
The ghost number keeps going up.
Yeah, get the ghost number. It's getting higher.
It's getting higher and higher, and they can't stop how high the ghost number gets.
Then it hits 666 and stops.
And then it just stops, and Miles says, "All right, enough. You've hit the terrible number. Now I got to say what I got to say."
I gave you a chance for your gags, Ghost.
You hit 69, you hit 420, and now you're at the end of the line.
And then, he says the most incredible things.
He basically says, like, "Listen, you don't have to stick around here. And listen, I'd love to tell your mom that you're gone, but the only way I'm going to do that is if you tell me where it is. So where is it, Ghosty?" And suddenly we hear a thump. And a vent has fallen open somehow. So the ghost is a poltergeist, I guess.
The ghost, yeah, exactly, is breaking things.
And inside the vent is a bag full of a bunch of cash and and a packet of ramen sauce, I guess.
So much cash. It's like $10,000.
A lot of money. And so Miles steals it, puts the drugs back in, and says, "You can go now." Goes back downstairs to the mom and gives back $100 because he has $1 million now. Gives back $100. He's like, "Oh, it's easier than I thought it would be." And then the mom is like, "Oh, thank you so much." So there's a lot to unpack about this scene.
Miles is incredible.
Miles is outstanding, first of all.
You know what? I think, because we talked about how he scams, like, grieving people and ghosts.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he really scammed the grieving lady.
I guess not, huh?
No. He did what he said he would do.
He did what he said he would do.
And also, for the service of getting rid of a ghost, $100 seems very reasonable to me.
It's very reasonable, and it probably seems extra reasonable if he knows he's getting an extra, like, unknown
$10,000.
An extra $10K.
He scammed the ghost.
The ghost is the one who gets scammed,
Yeah.
and you don't hear that story often.
No.
And sadly, that doesn't get touched upon very much again.
No, they don't bring up how he scammed a ghost.
He should be constantly bragging about how he scams ghosts.
I scam ghosts.
If you scam ghosts, you gotta bring that up more often.
Oh.
But honestly, Miles is just a humble guy who's angry all the time. So he gets woken up by the gang of Jack, Kate, and Dan, and immediately pulls out a gun and says, "Where's Naomi? I don't trust these guys, and you shouldn't either, Dan. They killed Naomi. What the heck? I'm mad." And Kate says, like, "We didn't kill Naomi. Locke killed Naomi." And Miles says, "Take me to her body." And Kate's like, "What the heck? Her body? You're not going to be able to tell anything from her body." And Miles looks in the camera and says, "Oh, I'll know." Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
He ghosts. He's like, "I think she had some money."
So we have a pretty good scene of maybe my single favorite scene in the episode. Actually, no, there's a couple of really good scenes, but this is a highlight for me. They bring Miles to Naomi's body. Miles is like sitting there doing his thing. It zooms out to see Kate and Jack just being like, "I don't know what the fuck is up with this. This is on another level." And then they go over to talk to Dan, and Dan is just like standing there like, "You guys ever notice that, like, the light here, like, doesn't quite, it's weird, doesn't quite scatter quite right." And they're just like, who are these fucking guys?
Yeah.
Really?
And that doesn't amount to anything. That's just the island is a weird thing.
That's just the island is weird, and to me it does a good job of like establishing like, oh, these guys are weirdos.
Yeah.
these new guys are not like regular Joes. They're friggin' weirdos. And I enjoyed it. Me? I'm a humble bozo, and I enjoy when Dan fucking smokes too much of that gas mask.
Oh, super good dank.
The dank is so good that it refracts the light weirdly. So
I smoked dank that good once.
Yeah, what happened?
It refract the light weirdly.
You're telling me, buddy. Boy, when the edible kicks in and the light refracts weirdly.
Let me tell ya. That's the end of that. I'll tell you what.
That's all we have to say. That's all we will ever have to say about the drug called weed.
That's a Faraday.
That's a Faraday. One time I was
Life of a taxi driver.
if you're a taxi driver and you're living a Faraday, you gotta learn a thing or two about a taxi business.
But you never take a day off. But you only ever do one fare.
You only ever do one fare a day.
You make $4 a day. You make $4.20 a day.
You make $4.20 one day, and then you make $6.90 the next day.
Why? Oh, 69.
And a different fare for a different day.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
It's funny. It's just funny.
funny.
This is a show by smart people for smart people.
$420.69.
The ultimate fare. Honestly, if you got in a taxi and they said right away, I'm gonna listen, before you tell me your destination, I need you to know that this is going to be $420.69 flat.
Flat.
No matter your destination. Within the metropolitan area. Anywhere. But it has to be $420.69 flat.
I wouldn't do it.
No, I would
Awful
just
deal.
awful
Especially
deal.
because you specified within the metropolitan area, as if they're like, look, I can't get ripped off here. It's only $420.69. How do you expect me to?
You expect me to go all the way to San Jerome? No way, Jose. I'll go as far as Laval, but no further.
Yeah, exactly. Jesus Christ.
God. Funny stuff. Honestly, funny stuff that makes me laugh. So, so Miles comes through and confirms, all right, it happened like they said it was. Naomi was killed by this Locke person. And they say, all right, now stop with the guns. Give me your guns, because we don't trust you guys anymore, because we want you to have guns. And Miles is like, I'm not going to do that at all, even a little bit. And Jack pulls the like, well, guess what? We've got people in the bushes with guns pointed right at your head. So why don't you just go ahead and give me your guns? And Miles is like, screw you guys. Bang, bang. Guess what? Jack wasn't bluffing. Juliet and Saeed come out, and they have guns too. Also, I guess they were in on it the whole time. I don't know. I forget how that is.
I don't know what was going on with that.
They were, having fun. So let's check back in with the other lads before we learn about
I would love to.
Before we learn about the third ones.
Did they find anything?
Well, listen. Before they find anything, Ben spends a lot of time roasting Carl and then roasting Sawyer.
Yeah.
Ben, who is tied up and effectively a prisoner of the Locke squad.
Yeah.
And Sawyer, like, Ben basically goes on like a tight five about how Kate loves Jack more than Sawyer, and how
it's
Sawyer's
very
inadequate.
grade school.
It's
I
very,
like it.
It's incredibly. He delivers it with like the like severity of like, I'm dressing you down so ultimately, and it's a true. I'm a master manipulator, but really he's just saying like,
Kate
Jack?
loves Jack.
Yeah, it's really that.
Yeah.
And it works and gets Sawyer to beat Ben up a lot.
Yeah, Sawyer kicks the shit out of Ben.
Sawyer kicks the
which
shit out of
is
Ben.
really, it works. It's really advantageous for Ben.
It's true. Ben, exactly what Ben was hoping for is to die.
Nothing in his situation changes, but he does get the shit beat out of him.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Ben is crazy.
Ben is on at one this whole episode. And so Locke says, hey, stop it. We need him. Well, why the heck are we keeping this guy alive anyway? Because he's a jabroni. He's always thinking 5 steps ahead. We should just kill him right here, right now. And Locke says, fucking great idea. Let's just kill him right here, right now.
Oh,
Sounds good to me. And and Sawyer says, oh, why I oughta. Yikes. And cools off and takes a walk.
And that's it.
That's it.
Oh.
So yeah, that's how that goes. And let's check in on our third helicopter member. We see her past, and it is, guess what?
Uninteresting.
It's not interesting. It's Charlotte, first of all.
It's Charlotte.
This is Charlotte's only flashback throughout the whole series. And she's in Tunisia. She walks up to a dig site, looks at a newspaper about 8:15, and says, I'm gonna invade this site. A Tunisian man walks up to him and is like shouting at him in French, like, arrête, vous ne pouvez pas, arrête ça, non, s'il vous plaît. He spends the whole scene just like talking, just like shouting in French.
He's just shouting right beside them while her and her partner just like
completely ignore him.
Yeah.
Don't even acknowledge that he exists. And so they walk up to this dig site and they're, fucking around with this excavated bones.
With these bones.
And they're like, wait a second. Guess what? This is a polar bear.
In the desert?
In the desert? What?
Holy shit.
And then he does a little more digging, and guess what they find? A collar. And the collar has
the Dharma sign.
The Dharma Initiative logo on it.
Yeah, Dharma did it.
Dharma put a polar bear in the desert, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. That's what they did. And Charlotte goes, well, what the heck is that? Cut to Charlotte tangled up in a branch above a lake on the island.
Yeah.
And she lets herself down, plops into the lake, and looks up and sees Locke's crew. Uh-oh.
But she's friendly.
She's friendly. She like comes up and basically is like chatting with the whole crew. And he's like, well, I came here with like 3 other people. They're all here to rescue you. You guys are the survivors of 815. That's amazing. I thought that 815 crashed and everybody died, but you guys are here and alive. Wow, what an amazing... This island is so beautiful. Charlotte is like incredibly friendly right at the gate, and it's kind of like really funny to see.
And Locke is like, we don't trust her, and everyone else is like, we trust her, but Locke is like, no, we don't.
No, we don't. My favorite scene ever is like... Charlotte is basically like, how many of there are you? And Hurley was like, well, there were 48 of us at the start. And then that number's kind of been dwindling down, and also there was this other tail section, and Locke says, Hugo, like a stern parent. Like a parent trying to like separate their fighting children.
Oh yeah. It is a really interesting tone.
It's a very like it's not mad, it's disappointed.
Yeah, poor Hurley can't just be an independent human being.
Just let Hurley be.
Let it be.
Let it be. Let her be. No, the Beatles was last week. We can't go back to that well, unfortunately.
Let It Be movie.
Let it. I will say, Let It Be movie is powerful.
Yeah.
I think that's what the song was about.
I'm ready for that, and you know who else is ready?
Who's that?
Bonesaw is ready.
Bonesaw is ready. To warm up for this podcast, we looked up a dubstep remix of Bonesaw is ready.
Yeah, Bonesaw's ready.
And if that means nothing to you, that's great. You're fine.
You gotta brush up on your Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, Sam.
You sure do, buddy. You sure do.
Sam, get out of here.
Sam, get the heck out of here.
Stink.
Wait, is Bonesaw a real wrestler, or is it strictly a creation of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man?
Bonesaw is Macho Man Randy Savage. But he's just a wrestler within Sam Raimi Spider-Man.
Okay, so Bonesaw is not an official WWE.
No.
Okay, I always thought he was.
No, he's not real.
Wow. Well,
Bonesaw is ready.
Bonesaw is not real. Anyways,
A much less popular slogan.
not a great slogan. Nobody really likes to hear it, frankly. So Charlotte's kind of
Frankly Petus?
Frankly Petus. He's not yet. Not quite yet.
Okay, we'll get to him.
Charlotte is giving him all grief because guess what? Why the heck are you guys being so weird and standoffish?
I'm trying to be nice.
I'm trying to be nice, and we're here to rescue you. Don't you want to be found by the by the freighter? And Locke says, well, there's a thing. We don't want to be found. So we get a scene where Saeed and Juliet are escorting everybody.
Yeah.
And Miles is very mean.
Yeah.
Miles is very mean.
Miles is a big jerk.
Dan, it's kind of the reverse thing where Dan is kind of like talkative and he's like, well, I'm a physicist. We've also got Charlotte and we got 2 other dudes, and Miles is just like, stop telling them information.
Stop talking, you idiot.
We can't trust these guys.
Don't tell them my last name.
Don't tell them a damn thing. And we have a pretty good moment where Saeed is like, you know what? You guys claim that Oceanic 815 was found and that there were no survivors. But you guys don't seem to give a shit at all that we were alive. And Miles is just like, oh my god, you're alive. I can't believe it.
Incredible.
Miles is incredible.
Miles is a jerk.
This is a good episode for Miles being a really meanie pant. And we don't get a lot of it, and I like that we get a lot of it in this episode.
Meanie pant.
That's him. So, an argument erupts among Charlotte's set of folks. And guess what? Everybody's not sure what to do. Everybody's doubting Locke because they realize. Oh, okay. I think I've actually skipped ahead a little bit. I have skipped ahead a little bit. We now meet Frank Lapidus.
Oh yes.
We meet Frank the Penis.
Frank the Penis.
In his past, he is working in a shitty place in the Bahamas. I'm not sure what he's doing.
This one's good.
And he's watching the news footage on a TV about the discovery of 815. And he sees the footage going over the pilot cockpit, and it says, like, we've identified this as the pilot of 815, Captain Seth Norris. Absolutely, this is him. And the camera kind of looks at his rotting corpse, and it's gross to look at. And it kind of
goes into that hand.
And it goes into the hand for a little bit. And Frank
holds a shot on the hand for about 45 seconds.
Oh, my God, longer, dude. Because guess what? The scene happens where Frank says, like, wait a second. I got to call this hotline. Hey, you guys, listen. You guys say this is Flight 815, but that's not Flight 815, because guess what? And the customer service lady is like, are you family? Are you, like, can I help you?
No, I got information.
Let me speak to your manager. And it kind of goes back and forth like this, and it keeps cutting back to Frank talking on the phone, and just an unmoving shot of the rotting hands. And the reason it focuses on the hands is because guess what? Frank claims that's not Seth Norris because I knew Seth Norris. And Seth Norris was married and would never take his wedding ring off, and there's no ring on that hand. And this conversation takes like 2 minutes, and through the entire time, the news
Still
footage,
just the shot of the
just
hand.
unbroken shot of the hand, and no commentary.
Yeah.
No commentary. Just look at these
they're showing
rotting
a hand.
hands.
This is the hand channel.
This
now.
is what the news is.
To buy this hand, call within the next 30 minutes.
It would even make sense if it was that, but there's no commentary from the channel. It's not like they're like, well, this is a really this was definitely the hand of the pilot.
Beautiful hand. Look at those pilot's hands.
One of 325 pairs of hands that we lost on this horrible day.
Yeah.
And boy, oh boy. No, it's just
one
like
of 650 hands total. Except for there was that one guy who had only one hand, so 649 hands.
Too many hands.
Too many hands.
Too many hands lost.
Too many hands lost.
Too many hands lost.
649. That's a lucky number. Go buy a lottery ticket.
And then immediate translation into Lotto 649 jackpot.
4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42. 6 numbers between 1 and 49. It works.
Hey, it does. As we talked about last week, people really did like to use those numbers in the lottery. Yeah. Even though the show came along and told them it was cursed.
It was cursed.
Nobody
you want to die and go on a stupid island? I don't think so.
You know what? People will do anything for a quick buck.
Oh my God. I know.
Don't you know? Don't you friggin' know? Oh, in this world, in this rat race day and age, anything for a friggin' dollar.
Don't you wish your hand was a pilot's like mine? Don't you wish your hand was a pilot's like mine? Don't you?
I do.
I do. Ah.
We're married now. Wow, it was that easy. I can't believe Adobe Audition is ordained and just wed us. Aw. Honestly, I'm gonna cry because of how beautiful this day is.
Will you give me your hand in marriage?
I sure will, and you bet your bottom dollar I'm not gonna take the ring off, no matter if
no matter
if I pilot a plane crash at all.
That way, if you die in a horrible accident deep in the ocean, we can just look at those hands and confirm.
Don't worry, they will focus on the hands.
They will focus on the hands.
News is not enough about news, and it's all about hands these days. So the customer service person is like, listen, you're not family. You're just some jabroni from the Bahamas. What are you talking about? What are you friggin' talking about? What qualifies?
How do you know anything?
How do you know even a damn thing about this Seth Norris guy? And Frank looks dramatically into the camera and says, because I was supposed to fly Oceanic Flight 815 on that day.
Which is interesting, I guess. It's ostensibly interesting.
It's something. It gives him a reason to give a shit about 815 at least.
Yeah.
That's something that I appreciate. That's something I appreciate about all these flashbacks is that at least it tries to be like, here's how these guys were impacted by the crash. Even in Miles, you hear the report on the radio, and then he just goes about his business.
He doesn't give a shit.
He doesn't give a shit, which is I appreciate that. Not everyone is because Charlotte is oh, I'm on a quest to find the Dharma Initiative or something.
Yeah.
And Frank and Dan are both watching it. Miles, it just is happening, and he doesn't give a shit. I appreciate that it's not they don't try to contrive that, at least immediately. Yeah. At least not in this episode. Anyways.
Don't ya?
Frank climbs up a cliff. He's feeling bad, and he manages to fire a flare into the sky. And Locke's crew sees it, and Charlotte's like, "Oh, that's got to be one of my friends. Let's go there. Maybe he's hurt." And Locke says, "No. She's lying. She's a liar. She's here to hurt us. And listen." And so an argument erupts about what should we do? Should we help them? Is this really the way, Locke? I don't know. And amidst all the hubbub, Ben manages to find a gun and shoot Charlotte a bunch of times.
It's cool. Two times. Right in the chest.
Right in the chest. And everybody's like, oh my God. And Sawyer immediately starts kicking the shit out of Ben.
It's cool.
And Locke goes over to Charlotte, and Charlotte wakes up. Because guess what? Charlotte had a
bulletproof vest on.
Bulletproof vest on.
Really good vest.
Really good vest.
I bet it could stop a knife, too.
It sure could. But listen, maybe Naomi should have been wearing a knife-proof backplate.
Oh, yeah, idiot.
Yeah, whose fault is that? Honestly, hers.
Naomi.
Speaking of Naomi, one final flashback from Naomi's perspective.
Oh, yeah. This one's dumb.
This one's very bizarre. It feels very pointless. Naomi is standing in an empty office space with that guy who told Locke to go on a walkabout.
the guy from The Wire.
The guy from The Wire who told Locke to go on a walkabout and also harassed Hurley that one time.
Yeah.
Turns out he's hiring this crew for Mr. Widmore, and he's holding the crew. He hold a picture of Faraday, a picture of Charlotte, a picture of Miles, a picture of Frank. Naomi's like, this crew sucks shit. What's the deal?
She is. That is exactly what she said. She's like, this is ridiculous.
This is not a good crew to take on a boat into a mysterious island.
And I have to agree.
And like, I don't know why this is even necessary. None of these guys are good at anything. And Matthew says they're all there. They've been chosen for a specific reason, and your job is to not ask questions and do what you're told. And Naomi's like, sounds good. Cut to dead Naomi.
Yeah. And he said your job is to make sure no one dies.
Yeah.
And she dies.
She dies.
Loser.
She does indeed die.
Stupid Naomi.
Honestly, what a dummy. So they find Jack and Miles and Dan and that whole crew finds Frank, and they say, oh my gosh, are you okay? What the heck happened to the helicopter? And Frank says, you know how good of a friggin' pilot I am? I landed the damn thing right over here.
Yeah.
And they go, and sure enough, it's safe and sound. And Saeed inspects it. All we see Saeed do is like rub the like throttle stick, and he's like,
it's good.
It's good. Seems good to me. And so they're like, great, we've got a thing. We can get out of here. Juliet tends to Frank's wounds. And Frank says, wait a second, Juliet, you know, I studied that 815 manifest all day because I was obsessed with it. And guess what? You were not on that flight. And he says, guess what, guys? This Juliet lady, wasn't on flight 815. Miles immediately snaps. Miles says,
where is he?
Where is he? Where is he? And you want to know? All right, you guys, you've been asking all episode why we're really here. We'll tell you why we're really here. And he pulls out a pic and he says, we're looking for Benjamin Linus. And the pic they have of Benjamin Linus is a weird pic. He is in a beige getup with a vest, and he looks very like he's like impatiently waiting in a line.
Totally, yeah.
The only known pic of Benjamin Linus. Are you sure?
It's a bizarre choice.
It's a bizarre choice. But I like to see the pic for sure. And so, cut to one more scene before we wrap up here. Cut to Benjamin Linus being put on trial, and Locke basically says, all right, remember when I said to execute him? For real this time. Actually, I'm going to execute him. And so, Alex, everybody get out of here. Carl, get out of here. Anybody who doesn't want to see this, y'all got to get out of here. But I'm definitely going to kill him. And Ben starts doing the classic, I have answers.
The Kill 'em Fellowship.
I have answers. Locke. Did you just say the Kill 'em Fellowship?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know. It's a fellowship.
It's a fellowship?
Yeah, not of the ring, but similar.
Of the Kill 'em?
Yeah. I think it's like a scholarship or something.
Oh, a Kill 'em Fellowship. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Sure.
Yeah.
What do you think?
So sorry about that. Just John Locke is a scholar.
John Locke is a scholar, and this is, of course, a show for smart people. So we hope that you've all earned your Kill 'em scholarships.
If John Locke wasn't smart, how did he get so bald?
That's exactly. You know what? That is a great point. And I think about it every time I see him, and I'm seeing him right now.
Yeah.
And he's ready to point a gun at Ben and shoot him.
He's mad.
He's pissed. And Ben says, I have information. You need me. And John immediately says, what is the smoke monster? What is the black smoke monster that has been terrorizing us all show? And Ben says, fucking, I don't know. And Locke cocks the gun, and Ben starts doing, her name is Charlotte Staples Lewis. She is born in such and such, and the whole classic Ben Linus thing of, here's your whole history, and I know it off the top of my head. Also, here's the history of the other people who are here. And they're here for me. I'll tell you why, and I'll tell you how I know all this. Because I've got a guy on the boat. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-bo.
It's Michael.
It's Michael. We know that.
Michael's the guy on the boat.
Michael is the guy on the boat.
Michael Boatman.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
What'd you think of that episode of Lost?
It was not bad.
It was not bad.
It was fine, yeah.
It was all right.
I like the introduction of the freighter people because I don't know. It's good before they can get in and fuck everything up.
Exactly. I feel very... Like, this episode feels very like the whole ensemble is there. Even though they're, like, split among two camps, it still is interesting, like, how do these new guys interact with these old guys? And I think they do a decent job of, like, making it not feel like overstuffed.
And I guess too, it's like it's just not bullshit yet. It's like that plot line will become very bad.
Yeah,
but it's not yet.
Exactly. It's Lost is all about potential energy, and there's a lot of it on display here.
Yeah,
and none of it's gonna really come to fruition. But right now, it's just like characters bumping into each other, and like we said at the start of the episode, sparks flying.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. Honestly, not a bad episode.
Not a bad ep.
But listen, this episode raises a handful of questions. And since we are more or less lost experts now, I'm wondering if we have the answers to these questions.
I would love to hear.
Well, listen. These questions, of course, come from Lostpedia, the questions and answers page, posed by many fans of the show, and answers provided. And so the questions posed in Confirmed Dead, according to Lostpedia. Let me ask you, why did Faraday cry at the oceanic wreckage report?
Because he has a connection to them?
That is more or less correct, yes. Yeah. He was boy, this paragraph goes on a journey. He was very saddened that they were all dead. It is implied that this is due to the effects his time travel experiments had on his mind, making him familiar with the survivors from meeting them later in his life.
Remember? That's sort of fine.
Yeah,
I get that.
That makes that
time travel.
I'd buy that for $1. How did Faraday come to be on the freighter mission?
His mom knew the man.
Yep. His mom knew the man, and his dad said, "Hey, come hang out."
Yeah.
That's more or less
yeah, his dad.
His dad and his mom all come through. This was stuff that we learned last week, so I won't dwell on it too much. Why is the freighter team treating this akin to a military mission?
Because it is essentially a military mission. They're trying to take someone by force.
It is. That is also established within the episode. Why was Faraday packed with a gas mask?
Because Ben has this gas system.
He does have a gas system. He sure does. So far, so good. Now we're going to get into the weeds of it. What is the nature of Miles's mediumship?
No one knows. They don't, because apparently he needs the body, but he doesn't. He had it when he was a kid. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. It sucks.
It is definitely bullshit. And in fact, guess what? It does go into how bullshit it is. It starts with, Miles can pick up the thoughts from a dead person's brain, quote, who they are and what they knew. It is implied that he was given this gift by the island, having been born there.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then it goes on to say, the answer to this question seems to retcon the original details established when it was introduced. Miles seems to be able to communicate with disembodied spirits in this episode's flashback, but Some Like It Hot later establishes that he can only read the thoughts left over in the dead brain of a person's remains. So yeah, sure as shoot, they hadn't figured it out yet and just decided, well, what if it was different?
It's self-contradictory.
It sure is. And, like, you know what? Sometimes you write a story and you don't know where it's going, and that's fine, I think.
And it's the best show in the world.
It's the best show, honestly, on the earth. How did Miles come to be on the freighter mission? I believe we know this as well.
Same thing.
Same thing. He was offered money.
Yeah.
Why did Faraday say the light doesn't scatter quite right on the island?
Because the light doesn't scatter quite right on the island.
It is likely an effect of the island's unique electromagnetic properties and time dilation. Whenever they don't have really an answer, the island's unique properties is the answer.
It's weird how much speculation is in those answers.
There's a lot. There's a lot of filling in the gaps. Here's a bombshell that I don't think you've been made aware of yet. Why was a Dharma polar bear in Tunisia?
I have no idea.
Well, listen, strap onto your boots because it's a good sentence that I'm about to say. It was sent there through the wormhole under the Orchid Station.
Boo.
You know. Have we
the
seen
wormhole?
The wormhole under the Orchid Station.
No, I don't know about the wormhole yet.
All right, we don't. No, we haven't actually.
Seems weird to me that a wormhole would lead to just another country on the Earth.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It would most likely hit ocean.
It would hit ocean or space. I feel like. Instead, it's just like, the desert.
Yeah, if it was like staying on the Earth, it would hit ocean, or like, whatever.
You know what?
Or space.
Hopefully, we get that. We see this wormhole sooner than later, so we can finally get some answers about what the deal is with this wormhole.
Yeah, why the wormhole? Worm.
How did Charlotte come to be on the freighter mission?
I don't know. She was born on the island too.
Yep, she was looking for the place she was born, more or less. Why does the freighter team not seem surprised to see the oceanic survivors alive?
Because they know about them.
They know about them. They
know they're going to be there.
They read the script and they knew that they were going to be there. They are under the impression that the wreckage was hoaxed by Ben. Yes, more or less. Why did Lapidus not fly Flight 815?
He overslept.
Literally, yeah.
Oh
Literally, that's the exact answer, and it is established at some point. How did Lapidus come to be on the freighter mission? Same deal, more or less. Widmore wanted to, exact same deal, more or less. Now, here's a big one, and I'm excited to get to this one. Why can't Minkowski communicate on the phone anymore? There's a scene we kind of glossed over where Miles is on the phone.
Oh, is he dead?
No, in fact. Miles is on the phone, and he's like, get Minkowski on. And the person's like, Minkowski can't come to the phone right now. And so everybody's wondering who Minkowski is and why he can't communicate on the phone anymore.
No idea.
Well, his mind has become unstable from time, being affected by the time dilation while on the
Boo.
Yeah. Sometimes your mind just becomes unstable from time.
I wish that's how they responded. Get Minkowski on the phone. His mind has become unstable from time.
And he was like, oh, okay. It's fine then. See ya. Who was Ben's spy on the freighter? Well, of course.
Michael.
It's Michael.
It's Mikey.
And one more question. Why does the freighter want Ben?
Because I have no idea, actually.
There's... It's big and it's vague. While they are under the impression that Ben is being captured because of the fake wreckage and, quote, many other reasons, Widmore's real motivation is to remove Ben from leadership so he can reclaim his position, although he later claims to have been wanting Locke to rise to leadership. So,
So, who knows?
Who knows? These are all, you might notice a pattern here, and it all comes down to who knows. Who the heck knows? That was a bit of a long one, but I think
good questions.
It was good questions, good answers, and honestly, it makes me really think about the state of the show, where it's at, why it is the way it is, and who's to blame.
And who are we?
And who are we? Who are you and I? We're all just helicopters crashing onto an island, trying to rescue / torment the survivors.
Amen.
And what do you say? We watch another episode of this friggin' show.
I put in 1 to 60 on random.org.
Yeah?
I got 3.
3.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. We're talking season 1, aren't we? I think this might be our first season 1 episode since we've pared it down. And I'm fairly certain it'll be a good one because season 1 tends to be all right.
It's great. It's good TV.
It's good television. Honestly, good show. Sometimes
I'll
the
watch
show's
that.
Good. You want to watch it? It's been a long time since we watched season 1, so I'm very excited. It's just taking my phone a hot minute to load up this stuff. What are you doing? You seem to be having fun.
I'm scratching dirt off of this desk. There's a film of dirt.
Of course.
And it is really intriguing me.
It seems to be.
I'm scratching it off the desk with a guitar pick. It's really nice.
I'm wondering if that's you intend to clean it that way or if it's just therapeutic. You've got a whole Kleenex here full of dirt right now.
Yeah, there is a Kleenex full of dirt.
Full of
it's just like this weird film of dirt, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't like dirt. I think...
No, me too.
We should get
I don't think there's any other way to clean it.
That is a damn shame. But also, at least it's a fun one. So 3, you said, right?
Yes, I did.
Season 1, episode 7, The Moth. It's a
The Moth?
The Moth, my friend.
Uh-huh.
And it is a Charlie episode.
Oh, cool. First Charlie episode?
The very first Charlie episode, yes.
Great. I love it.
Maybe our last Charlie episode? I'm not sure. I'm going to have to confirm
I love that too.
We'll be watching that one next week. So, that's the damn show, isn't it?
That's the show.
Thank you all so much for listening. I've been Bean.
I've been James.
You can follow me on Twitter at Barrier Trio. You can catch up with James at jamesbrown.space and all of his misgivings and misfortunes. You should listen to James Brown's other podcast, Lovable Favorites, where...
Featuring Bean. Bean was just on an episode.
I was just on an episode just last week, and guess what? Jack, who guested last week, also is on that podcast every damn time.
Every time.
Every time. They read fan fiction to each other. It's good. You can follow the show at Island Shuffle on Twitter, facebook.com/The Island Shuffle on Facebook, of course. We are hosted on noisepace.xyz, which is a wonderful network that is full of all kinds of great podcasts that I like to hear, including My Pod Cabbages, City Girls Make Do, Henry Kissinger's Pokemon Going to Die, Giants Confirmed, Stuck in the Middle with You, The Stick, and more than that as well. And it's a great little network, and I love to be a part of it. Shout out to Matt for hosting us. Finally, if you enjoyed what you hear, I beseech you, we implore you to leave us a positive rating and review on iTunes. Because guess what? That's a thing that is apparently good for us. Please, we're dying. We're dying, and you need to water us with reviews. Please, we beg of you. Please give us a review and we come to the end of the show.